Welcome to my Smart Info channel. I upload boring history for sleep videos. If you like these videos, don't forget to subscribe my Smart Info channel. Imagine you're a servant in ancient China. But this is the Forbidden City. Your first duty is to report to your assigned hall. Even a few minutes delay could mean a whipping, or worse, dismissal. Because in the Forbidden City, positions are valuable, and punishments quiet, but brutal. How long could you endure? So how long could you last in the Forbidden City? I'm waiting for your comments. Don't forget to subscribe my Smart Info channel for stories like this. Let's get started. The sun has set over Beijing, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. Inside the Forbidden City, the air is alive with the scent of jasmine and the sound of rustling silk as the emperor's wife, the Empress, prepares for bed. Her day began at dawn, much like yours, no doubt. The Empress, her day nearly done, removes her heavy garments, revealing a more relaxed, yet still regal attire. The Empress lies in the darkness, the faint glow of the moon painting silver streaks across her serene face. In the stillness, one can almost hear the echoes of 1,000 whispered secrets. The rustle of silk, the murmur of voices, the soft tread of feet on the marble floors. The Forbidden City, once a hive of activity, is now a realm of dreams, its inhabitants lost in the embrace of slumber. And as the moon climbs higher in the sky, the entire city seems to sigh, content in its slumber, awaiting the golden dawn. Her undergarments, though simple, are made of the finest materials, a comfort she deserves after a long day. As the last rays of sunlight fade away, she slips between cool, crisp sheets, each fold as perfect as the last. Her attendants, ever vigilant, ensure her comfort, adjusting the quilt and pillows with the utmost care. The scent of lavender incense fills the air, mingling with the sweet fragrance of the Empress's favorite swan, Zhao, a blend of herbs and spices that has calming properties. Despite the grandeur of the surroundings, the Empress finds solace in the quiet rituals of the evening. A moment of tranquility before the bustling court life begins anew at dawn. She rose with the sun, greeted by the soft light filtering through the ornate window screens. Her first act, to light the sacred incense. Its tendrils of smoke curling upwards, carrying her wishes for the day to the heavens. Her maids, dressed in the softest linen, their movements as graceful as the flowing silk scarves they wore, helped her change into a magnificent robe of golden silk, its color symbolizing the wealth and power of the empire. Each movement was precise, each gesture laden with respect as they carefully applied her makeup. A delicate dance of powder and rouge highlighting her porcelain skin and features. The Empress is adorned with jade and gold ornaments, their cool touch a stark contrast to the rising heat of the day. With her ceremonial headdress in place, she was ready to face the day, to meet with visiting dignitaries, to conduct the business of the empire, all while maintaining the delicate balance of courtly life. But now, as the evening deepens, the pace of the palace slows. As the night deepens, the sounds of the palace fade into a peaceful hush. The Forbidden City, a world unto itself, a realm of emperors and consorts, eunuchs and servants. But which life did you live within its silent halls? The walls are adorned with peeling paint, and the roof leaks during the rains. You share this space with several other servants, each lost in their own slumber. Your hands become rough and sore from scrubbing floors and hauling heavy baskets. The Forbidden City, with its vast courtyards and red sandstone walls, seems to absorb the sunlight, turning the stone into a furnace. You walk on eggshells around her, careful not to offend with even the slightest movement or word. Her moods are as unpredictable as the weather, and you know that a harsh word or a misplaced garment could result in a sharp rebuke, or worse, a flogging. You long for a cool stream or a shady tree, but the closest you get is the sliver of sky visible between the two palace walls. The evening chill brings little relief from the day's toil. You huddle with the other servants, sharing stories of your aching limbs and longing for a day when your services might be deemed worthy of a noblesse notice. You yearn for a moment of rest, but such luxuries are not afforded to servants. In the Forbidden City, you eat standing, your thin porridge cooling quickly in the morning chill. You glance at the sumptuous feasts served to the nobles in the distance and feel a pang of envy. The palace lanterns, though numerous, cast only a faint glow on the ancient stones. Your story, though humble, was an integral part of this grand design. How did your experiences shape you? Did the drudgery of your tasks harden your spirit, or did you find solace in the camaraderie of fellow servants? Perhaps you became adept at reading the subtle signs of the court, mastering the art of survival within the Forbidden City's intricate social hierarchy. Share your thoughts below. The night is filled with the rustling of silk robes and the murmur of hushed voices. You make your way home, careful not to stumble in the dark. Sleep comes quickly, but is filled with fitful dreams of servitude and toil. And you wake again to the tolling of palace bells, marking the start of another day in the endless cycle of a servantess life within the Forbidden City. The air is thick with the smell of stale sweat and unwashed bodies. Your stomach growls, reminding you that breakfast is a luxury you can't afford. You rise, careful not to disturb the sleeping forms around you. Your knees ache from kneeling on the cold stone floor during last night's shift, but you dare not complain. A sob escapes your lips as you remember your aching back, shoulders bent under the weight of endless buckets of water. You had hoped that today might bring some respite, but the oppressive heat makes it clear that your duties will remain the same. Were you a lowly servant whose days bled into weeks and months in a monotonous tide of chores and obedience? In the distance, the melodic chimes of palace bells echo, marking the start of another busy day. You join the throngs of servants making their way to the various halls of the imperial palace. Your hall is one of many, each dedicated to the needs of the imperial court. Within its high walls, there are kitchens that never seem to run out of food, laundries piled high with silks and linens, and storerooms overflowing with treasures from distant lands. Each room operates like a well-oiled machine, and you are merely a cog within it. Or perhaps you were a cunning merchant, navigating the labyrinthine markets, trading rare spices and silks. Or maybe you were a scholar, hoping to catch the emperor's eye with your poetry, or convince a noble consort with your wit. Let's find out what life you lived within the Forbidden City. You wake up before the sun, your cramped quarters barely letting in the pale morning light. Outside, the Forbidden City is a hive of activity. Your day is filled with menial tasks, cleaning, polishing, fetching, carrying. As the sun climbs higher in the sky, the heat becomes stifling. In the afternoon, you attend to the private quarters of a noble consort, making sure her chambers are spotless and her garments are pressed. As the sun begins its slow descent, you hurry to complete your tasks. Before long, the entire Forbidden City plunges into darkness. Life in the Forbidden City, whether as a servant or a noble, was a tapestry woven with the threads of duty, intrigue, and tradition. The moon is high, the palace is deep in slumber, and outside the gilded walls, the night is alive with possibilities. We move beyond the quiet footsteps of the palace. servants, and turn our attention to one woman who defied the weight of tradition and carved her name into the very heart of Chinese history. If you'd like to continue exploring the rich tapestry of ancient Chinese history, stay tuned for more. Our next journey takes us beyond the grand halls of the Imperial Palace to the enigmatic warriors of the Terracotta Army. These silent sentinels hold secrets that can unlock the mysteries of an era. Join us as we uncover their stories. Imagine you are born not to privilege but to possibility. It is the 7th century during the Tang Dynasty, and you are Wu Zhao, later known to history as Wu Zhaxian. Your family, while respectable, is far from noble, yet from an early age, your world is different. Your father allows you to learn to read and write, a rarity for girls in a time where most women are destined to be seen but not heard. Kept behind screens, their lives limited to weaving and obedience. As a young girl, you study poetry, history, the classics of Confucius. Your gaze is not lowered, your ambitions quietly begin to form. At the tender age of 14, you're summoned to the grand capital of Chang'an to serve as a concubine in the imperial palace of Emperor Taizong. Imagine the awe, the fear, the overwhelming immensity of entering the vast palace complex. Knowing you are but one among hundreds of concubines, with little chance of being noticed. Your days are spent in quiet waiting, in embroidery, in learning the courtly arts. See the grand ceremonies from afar, but you are nothing more than a minor figure in the emperor's enormous household. When Taizong dies, according to custom, you are expected to fade away, retire to a Buddhist convent, and vanish from history. But Wu Xiao does not vanish. Instead, she returns to court, called back by the new Emperor Gaozong, who had noticed her in her younger years. Against expectation, you rise again from obscurity to the center of power. The court whispers, rumors swirl, the nobility sneers, yet you remain calm, silent, deliberate. You do not rise through dramatic rebellion, but through calculated patience. Quiet alliances, gentle persuasion, and unwavering determination. Slowly, methodically, you consolidate your position. Rival concubines, influential ministers, even members of the imperial family are outmaneuvered one by one. Your ascent is not marked by swift conquest, but by years of careful positioning, adapting to the endless currents of palace intrigue. When Gaozong grows weak, plagued by illness, it is you, Wu Xiao, who steps into the vacuum. You listen to petitions, make judgments, oversee court matters. Ministers accustomed to speaking only to the emperor now bow before you. Eventually, you take the unthinkable step. You seize the throne itself. Declaring the founding of the Zhou dynasty, you become Emperor Wu Zetian, the only woman in all of China's long imperial history to rule in her own right. Your reign is one of contrasts. You encourage education, promote scholars, open pathways for the talented, regardless of their birth. You champion Buddhism, build grand temples, and encourage the arts. Under your rule, the empire thrives, the economy grows, cultural life blossoms. But the path to power is rarely gentle. You maintain your grip through strict control, ruthless discipline, and a network of secret police. Dissent is crushed quietly. Opposition vanishes. The forbidden city echoes with your name in awe and in fear. Years pass, decades drift by, and you remain at the pinnacle of power in a society that had decreed you should never have risen at all. And when your reign finally comes to a close, you leave behind a legacy that ripples through history. Some would call you a usurper, others a trailblazer. But the rhythm of your life tells a quieter truth, a story of patience, endurance, and quiet. Relentless will against a world that had never been built for you. We hope you enjoyed this glimpse into the life of Wu Zixin. Welcome to the Forbidden City. Step through the gate and leave the bustling world behind. Here, sunlight filters through gilded screens, painting dancing patterns on the polished marble floors. The air is heavy with incense, mingling with the delicate notes of blooming orchids and the gentle laughter of ladies in waiting. We are here today to meet the enigmatic concubines. But before we enter their world, let's take a moment to appreciate the grandeur around us. These ornate buildings echo with centuries of whispered secrets, each room a stage for countless dramas of love, intrigue, and power. Our journey through the heart of the Forbidden City has brought us to this secluded courtyard. Here, amidst the tranquil beauty, resided the select few who shared the emperor's bedchamber. Their world was one of refined luxury and delicate pleasures, a stark contrast to the austere lives of the eunuchs and palace servants. While their numbers varied across the dynasties, their influence on the emperor's heart and the empire's fate was immeasurable. Each concubine had her own elegantly decorated chambers, complete with rosewood furniture inlaid with ivory and adorned with exquisite paintings. Soft silks draped the windows, filtering the sunlight into pools of warm gold on the jade-tiled floors. These rooms were sanctuaries of comfort, offering respite from the rigid protocols and endless rituals of palace life. One of the most enchanting aspects of the concubines' quarters was the presence of blossoming trees. During the spring, pale apricot branches laden with fragrant blossoms would be brought in and artfully arranged in ceramic vases. The sight of these delicate blooms, symbols of feminine beauty and transient youth, would have been a constant reminder of the fleeting nature of time and the precarious balance of fortune. The concubines themselves were not merely ornaments in the emperor's gilded cage. They were expected to be educated, engaging women, adept at poetry, music, and the arts. In fact, many concubines were chosen for their intelligence and cultural refinement. They held the emperor's interest through witty repartee and intelligent conversation, making them far more than passive companions. The favored concubines held significant sway over the emperor, often becoming the mothers of princes and shaping the future of the dynasty. Their ability to navigate the intricate court politics, balancing tradition with change, was nothing short of brilliance. To survive in such a turbulent environment, the concubines had to possess an understanding of the emperor's temperament and the subtle art of persuasion. Some, like the infamous Lady Yang Jifei of the Tang dynasty, became legendary figures, their stories echoing through the ages. Despite their elevated status, the concubines' lives were not without sorrow. The imperial court, with its intrigues and rivalries, extended its tendrils into their secluded world, too. Jealousy and courtly intrigues sometimes cast long shadows, threatening to eclipse the serene existence they inhabited. Still, the concubines persevered, finding solace in the camaraderie of fellow court ladies and the creative outlets that the palace afforded. Within the walls of the Forbidden City, the concubines wove tapestries of silk and gold thread, capturing ephemeral moments of beauty or immortalizing favorite poems. They gathered in elegant halls to practice calligraphy, composing verses that expressed their joys and sorrows. At times, when the pressures of court life grew too intense, they sought refuge in the meticulously manicured gardens. Walking among the blossoming peonies and lotuses, they found tranquility, a respite from the storm of expectations that surrounded them. And then there were the festivals. The Chinese New Year celebrations were particularly vibrant, with fireworks illuminating the night sky, dragon dances reverberating with joyous energy, and the air filled with the scent of paper cuttings and blooming flowers. These were moments of unbridled merriment, of shared laughter and camaraderie, weaving cherished memories into the fabric of their lives. Evenings were spent in quiet reflection, the soft light of oil lamps casting intimate shadows. The concubines, adorned in flowing silk robes, would gather in their private chambers, sharing stories and confiding their hopes and dreams. It was in these intimate moments that the weight of their unique existence settled upon them, the privileges and the sacrifices, the joys and the heartaches. Living in the shadow of the Empress, always aware of the delicate balance of fortune that kept them in the Emperor's favor. However, it's important to remember that while these women enjoyed privilege and luxury, their lives were far from carefree. They were bound by strict rules and customs. Constant scrutiny and the ever-present threat of losing the emperor's favor loomed over them. Life as a concubine required a delicate balance of grace, wit, and resilience. They were expected to maintain their beauty, to be culturally adept, and to navigate the treacherous waters of court politics with finesse. In this world of silk and secrets, they were both treasured possessions and pawns in a game of power. Their influence, though profound, was wielded in hushed tones and veiled gestures. As you stand here in the heart of the Forbidden City, take a moment to imagine the echoes of their laughter, the rustle of their silk garments, and the murmur of their voices weaving tales of love, loss, and longing within these silent walls. And then when you are ready, let us step into the chambers next door. Through that open doorway lies the humble abode of a palace servant, a stark contrast to the opulence we just witnessed. There, the simple routines and quiet duties of everyday life unfolded. Far from the glittering spotlight of the concubine's court, join me as we explore the life of an ordinary man navigating the labyrinthine corridors of the Forbidden City. Before we begin, a message from our sponsor, Masterworks. This week, I want to talk to you about art. Not just any art, but Banksy. A new exhibition of his work called Banksy. One Nation Under CCTV is currently touring the country, and tickets are going fast. But as one of the privileged few who drifted through life within golden halls, their days shaped by comfort and quiet rituals of indulgence. Your life here unfolds gently, rhythmically, with no need to labor, no burden of governance, only the careful dance of etiquette and quiet amusements to pass the time. Calligraphy practiced with deliberate slowness. Brushstrokes flowing like water across pristine white paper. Composing poems about mountains you have never climbed, rivers you will never see, yet your words drift. Timelessly, across generations. Perhaps you visit the Hall of Literary Glory, where scholars debate, or the Imperial Library, where ancient scrolls rest undisturbed, waiting to be unfurled, their bamboo slats whispering softly as they open. In the mornings, you might take tea in a secluded courtyard surrounded by flowering magnolias, listening to the distant sound of bamboo. Leaves rustling in the breeze as attendants serve delicacies, watching koi fish circle lazily in ponds pausing. Beneath curved bridges as incense curls upwards from distant shrines, the scent mingling with the sweet aroma of plum blossoms. Here, amidst the vibrant colors and soothing sights, you lose yourself in the present moment. Here, amid the vibrant blooms and trickling fountains, you find a semblance of peace. The gentle breeze carries the scent of apricots and lilies, mingling with the faint, sweet sound of court musicians practicing in the distance. It is a scene of perfect tranquility, a moment of calm before the evening's quiet drama unfolds. You might join fellow nobles in archery practice, the taut bowstring singing as arrows soar towards their mark, or you could attend a theatrical performance. Acrobats tumbling, actors declaiming epic tales, eunuchs stationed at strategic points, their ears attuned to every whisper, their gazes missing nothing. Their presence a constant reminder of the precarious balance of power that underpins this world of silk and splendor. Within the heart of the Forbidden City, beneath the watchful gaze of ancestors and the silent scrutiny of eunuchs, you move through a world of refined pleasures and subtle intrigues. Every interaction, every carefully worded phrase, every graceful gesture is a step in a silent game. The stakes are high, the rules unwritten, and the prize is favor, a fleeting precious thing, easily earned, easily lost in the grand labyrinth of the imperial court. First, however, comes the slow, silent retreat to chambers of polished wood, the soft rustle of silk, the gentle chime of bells, the whisper of court poetry, all blending into a symphony of existence. Here in the heart of the Forbidden City, where power and beauty intertwine, you are both captive and king, living amidst luxury that would shame a god, yet forever confined within the shifting sands of imperial grace and delicate lattice work, where attendants prepare for your evening ablutions, laying out silks and scented waters, ensuring every need is anticipated. Courtesans arrive, their laughter tinkling like wind chimes, their presence a welcome distraction from the day's rituals. Musicians tune their instruments, ready to fill the hall with enchanting melodies that weave tales of love and loss, of heroes and mythical beasts. Some evenings the emperor himself graces the jade gallery, his presence commanding a hush as he engages in lively discourse, his booming laughter echoing with fatherly warmth. Other nights, the company is more intimate. A select group of nobles gathered for poetry readings or chess matches, played by the soft glow of oil lamps. This is a time for quiet contemplation, a chance to shed the day's facade and reveal your true self. Maybe here beneath the soft glow of oil lamps you compose poetry, pouring your heart onto paper. Or perhaps you practice calligraphy, finding solace in the elegant curves of each stroke. There are no eyes upon you here. This is your sanctuary, a place where the weight of the crown recedes, and you are simply yourself. These moments of shared experience, these rhythms of daily life form the tapestry of your existence within these gilded walls. Dishes arrive in an endless procession, bowls of braised duck, fragrant stews rich with rare herbs, crystal dumplings glistening like tiny jewels, all presented on ornate lacquered trays. Attendants serve with silent grace, withdrawing as quickly as they appear, leaving you in the hushed quiet of the dining hall, the only sound the gentle clink of chopsticks against porcelain. Your worries and woes seem a world away, fading into the gentle background hum of palace life. Pastries filled with lotus seed paste, slices of freshly picked fruit, porcelain cups filled with fragrant green tea, the steam curling softly into the air. Perhaps you seek the shade of a willow tree, its branches cascading around you like a green curtain. Or maybe you recline on a silk cushion, gazing up at the intricate patterns adorning the ceiling. At times like these, the weight of your station feels like a feather, light and airy, a mere whisper against your skin. For even in this haven of tranquility, the specter of power lingers unseen but ever present. Words must be chosen carefully, gestures weighed. The wrong alliance, a poorly timed comment, even a glance could shift the delicate balance from favor to quiet exile. And so, while leisure surrounds you, it is not true freedom. You live like a bird within a carved jade cage, well-fed, beautifully adorned, yet ever confined within the unchanging rhythm of palace life. Around you, others do the same, nobles playing Go, scholars reading poetry aloud, geishas laughing, their voices echoing softly like wind chimes. There is no rush here. Time moves at the pace of the clouds drifting across the sky. The air around you is heavy with the scent of magnolia blossoms and the murmur of unseen fountains. Your steps are light as you glide across polished flagstone floors, past decorative screens painted with dancing dragons, through gardens that seem to hold their breath in anticipation. Here, every tree is pruned to perfection, every rock precisely placed as if chiseled by the gods themselves to mirror paradise on earth. But here's the thing. I don't know if you know this, but contemporary art is expensive, like really expensive. A single print can run you over $10,000. But thanks to our sponsor Masterworks, you can invest in Banksy without spending your whole allowance for the month. See, Masterworks buys high-end contemporary art and allows everyday people like me and you to invest in it. They start by sourcing top-tier art from iconic artists like Banksy, Picasso, Monet, Basquiat. Then they buy the pieces and break them up into smaller shares, so more people can own a piece of the pie. It's a cool way to diversify your portfolio, especially since traditional investments aren't looking so hot right now. Since launching in 2021, Masterworks has sold 2 paintings with both returning over 30% net returns to investors. So I'm talking about real passive income here. If you're interested in investing in Banksy, you won't find a better entry point than this. So check out the link below. And now back to our story. Now let us walk back through the crimson gates of the Forbidden City. But this time not as a servant, nor as an emperor weighed down by rule. For you are no ordinary mortal. You are part of the imperial household, a favored consort, a high-ranking official, or perhaps a prince of the blood. Afterward, your time is spent in leisurely activities designed to cultivate both refinement and serenity. As the sun climbs higher, the heat shimmering in the distance, you may choose to stroll along covered pathways, their ceilings painted with stories from folklore. But as the hours drift by, the heat of the day demands rest. Then come the afternoons when the sun begins its slow retreat and the world comes alive once more. Yet as the day deepens, so does the quiet unease. In the late afternoons, you might wander through the imperial gardens, their paths worn smooth by countless footsteps, their flowers tended with loving care. As the lanterns begin to glow, casting an ethereal light across the courtyards, it is a signal for the next act of palace life to begin. The evening meals are not merely nourishment, but ceremony. And then, as the first stars begin to appear in the darkening sky, the night truly comes alive. And all the while, unseen eyes watch. And as the moon climbs higher in the heavens, casting silver light through lattice windows, you find yourself caught in the timeless loop of palace life. Thank you for watching. To keep these videos free, please consider making a small donation. The Forbidden City, a place where dreams are made and broken, where emperors rose to power and time stood still. Now close your eyes and imagine you're here. The sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of amber and rose. And now, as the night deepens, you feel the weight of history pressing in around you. The Forbidden City, once the bustling center of an empire, is now a silent, shadowy realm. A cat, sleek and black as night, with eyes that gleam like emeralds. You see the ghosts of emperors and consorts walking through the palaces, their robes trailing behind them like wisps of smoke. The memories of the Forbidden City are not meant to be held in the light of day. They belong to the darkness, to the quiet hours when the world is asleep and the past is present. You hear the clash of swords and the rumble of cannons from the ancient battles fought and won. You are safe. You are free in the quiet comfort of your own space, far from the rigid routines, far from the ancient walls. History can be heavy, but it can also be soothing, a soft echo of those who came before. And now you have walked their paths, seen their silent halls, and let their stories guide you gently towards calm, towards sleep. The Forbidden City comes alive with the stories of its former inhabitants. Good night, traveler. It pauses for a moment, regarding you with an air of regal indifference before disappearing into the shadows. You continue your walk, and the further you go, the deeper the silence becomes. The night is alive with the sounds of the city, the distant rumble of traffic, the faint strains of music, the laughter of lovers. But here, in the heart of the Forbidden City, there is only silence. The grand halls and courtyards, once echoing with the laughter of children and the chatter of courtiers, are now empty and still. The only sound is the whisper of the wind rustling through the trees, carrying with it the scent of jasmine and the distant memory of dragon boats on the lake. The air is still, the crowds are gone, and you find yourself standing in the heart of the Forbidden City, surrounded by the ghosts of emperors past. The red walls, once so vibrant, now seem to bleed into the night. The palace is a labyrinth of shadows and secrets, and you feel a shiver run down your spine. As you turn a corner, you come across a courtyard bathed in the silver glow of the moon. In the center stands an ancient well, its surface as still and dark as ink. Legend has it that this well was used for ceremonial purposes, a way of communicating with the heavens. But tonight it feels like a portal to another world, a world of emperors and concubines, of power and intrigue. The day has been long. You've wandered through the imperial palace, marveled at the temple of heaven, strolled along the serene lakeside gardens. You wander through the deserted palaces, their ornate roofs disappearing into the darkness. Suddenly, you hear a rustle in the bushes, and a small furry creature darts across your path. And in the silence, you begin to hear the whispers of history, the echoes of footsteps from centuries past. But as the night wears on, the whispers grow fainter and the shadows less sharp. As your mind begins to slow, as your body relaxes deeper into rest, remember that the world of the Forbidden City, with all its grandeur and hardship, is far behind you. Allow yourself to rest, to drift, knowing the world will wait and the past will remain, quietly whispering until you choose to listen again. If you liked the story, don't forget to subscribe to my Smart Info channel. How's the story? I'm looking forward to your comments.